caves and margaritas. Joyce and Gavin talking about their favorite features.
Welcome to another episode of Man Caves and
Margaritas.
Have we got margarita today?
This looks like a margarita. I could say it's a margarita, but no, this is like an orange squash.
We're not sponsored by Diet Coke. I wish we were.
Yeah, well, if anyone's watching from Coke, give us a shout.
Look, yum, Diet Coke, caffeine free. Really nice. So, Dwiz.
Yeah.
You chose today's film.
Well, today's film is a film that I've never ever met anyone who's actually seen it, which is remarkable because, for one, it's fantastic in my opinion. Two, it's really well made, and it's not really low budget or an indie film or anything like that, is it?
No.
And you haven't seen it, have you?
Yeah, and it takes a bit to get one past me, I must admit, especially if it's horror. And I knew nothing about this film at all.
It's called The Empty Man. So I'm not one of those people that remembers the director, names of all the actors, what year it's done, but check it out on IMDb, The Empty Man. It's a remarkable film that I thought Gavin would appreciate. I'd kind of forgotten a lot of the details. I had forgotten just how creepy it was.
Well, I mean, I suppose we could talk, we can easily talk about just the film, the story and everything in this channel. So just to quickly get it out of the way, I thought acting was very strong. The production values were strong. It looked great. The cinematography was great. Talk about the sound though separate, because that was amazing. The sound was amazing. Score, but wow, the story. Yeah, okay. So when you said The Empty Man to me, when we were talking about what the next film was going to be, my brain, I don't know why, but my brain was thinking of The Slender Man. Which is, so my brain was kind of expecting something a little bit more trashy. Do you know what I mean? But I did think it couldn't be, because that's not you would think the same. So, but that's kind of where my brain was going. And it's so not like anything I was expecting at all.
Well, the name Empty Man doesn't conjure up any specific idea about what the film's going to be like. But it is not just a random name. It's actually tied in with the plot, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, so we don't mind spoilers on this channel, but like maybe because not many people probably haven't seen this, so let's try and keep specific spoilers out.
Or we could say, if you haven't seen it, hunt it down, watch it, and then watch this.
Yeah, we watched it on Disney Channel, so it's quite surprising it's on Disney Channel because
oh my god, it's creepy.
So creepy.
Well, we've decided to introduce a new category of film, and it's going to be called, the category of film that we've decided now is the SAF film, CAF, and we're calling it SAF because it was
creepy as fuck.
Oh my god. And yeah, not knowing anything about a film, nothing. I've not seen a trailer, didn't know story, didn't know anything. And it was actually quite refreshing to go into a film with that in mind, you know. So, talking story then, holy cow. Let's talk, shall we, about the opening 15 minutes. I mean, it's a long film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 2 hours 20.
It doesn't feel like it, again, you know.
No. Well, I saw it was 2 hours 20 this morning because we're filming in the morning. It's not lovely sunny day outside. I was like, I wish I'd chosen a film that was shorter, but it flew by.
Yeah, it flew by. It didn't feel like it.
It does have a 20-minute prologue. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, prologue, yeah.
So, yeah, by the time you actually get to the proper meat of the story, 20 minutes has already gone. But you were going to say about the prologue.
Well, the prologue's got to be one of the creepiest and best opening scenes to a horror genre type film that I've seen in a long time. I mean, proper, it really proper had me on edge, right? And it could, yeah, again, a lot of that's because I didn't know where it was going. And then stuff that starts happening, it's like the real curveballs aren't there in it. And you're like, what the
I suppose, yeah, a certain amount of spoilers are going to be needed for our chat, but we'll try and keep off the main plot. But basically, the prologue set 15 years, or was it 23 years?
25 years
25
prior
years.
to the main story.
And but when you're watching it, you don't realise it's a prologue, and it's set up so well, even though you get into it quite quickly, but because it's 20 minutes, it almost feels like its own short film, doesn't it?
Could easily have been.
You could be watching it and thinking, you could make a 90-minute film out of that.
Well, I thought that this is what the film was going to be based on. I genuinely did. I thought, wow, this is so creepy and it's horrible, and oh boy, this is so when it gets to the bit where it's like, I don't think we can do this without giving some spoilers away.
Yeah, we're going to have to forget about spoilers. Let's go for it.
Watch the film, come and watch this. Here we go, spoilers, right? So, opening prologue, 1995, set in like this, like, where would you say it was? Where was it?
Was it Bhutan?
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so like imagine where you would find monasteries and places like that. These kids on a massive hike, 4 kids, they come across this big, really high up bridge in the middle of nowhere. And once they've crossed the bridge, one of these kids thinks he hears a noise.
Mm-hmm. When you say kids, you're like 19, 20 or whatever. Yeah, and this guy hears the noise. He falls down a crevice in the rocks. Yeah, are you okay? Are you okay? Don't hear any sound back. Get the ropes out, come down, and he's just there like this.
In the dark.
Not responding, looking at a really creepy figure, let's just say. Let's not spoil too much.
Oh, yeah.
And then
okay, yeah.
They get out of that situation into like trying to avoid certain spoilers. So then the whole thing starts. What's going on?
So they end up in a cabin, don't they?
They basically end up in a cabin, and then you think, right, I know what this film's about. It's really creepy. I'm invested. It looks absolutely spectacular. I've never seen Bhutan before on a film, and it looks stunning. They're up in the mountains, and you're all set, and then something happens. You're like, what? And you're already completely freaked out because it is a prologue. They go bang, 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 bang through it. No messing about. No real setting up. No like exposition or anything like that.
Nothing. Yeah.
And then after 20 minutes, it goes 2022 or whatever. And you're like, what? That was just the
shifts 25 years later.
Incredible.
And then you meet the main actor.
And then it becomes. Stuff starts happening, then the main actor is an ex-cop, and it turns into what you think is now more of like an investigation kind of.
Yeah, it totally. It reminded me, from a storytelling point of view, it reminded me of films like Angel Heart and The Ninth Gate, which are both films where you have the main lead character, Johnny Depp in The Ninth Gate, and the guy that was in The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke in Angel Heart. And you're following their own investigation and you're finding things out along the way as their character does.
The exposition is them unravelling the
exactly.
mystery.
So throughout the entire film, you're never 100% sure what's going on. You're just grabbing these bits and pieces as it's going along, and you're putting together this lovely little puzzle as they're doing it too. But while this guy is doing this, there's this underlying atmosphere of dread and creepiness.
The prologue is so creepy that it doesn't let you lose that feeling of being creeped out, even though it starts a new story almost in a different way. The way it does it, you don't get to relax as much as you think you would.
No, I mean, it doesn't even link, again, spoilers. It's impossible to do without spoilers, I think.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume that by now, anybody watching this has now watched the film and can relate to what we're talking about. Okay, fair enough? Okay. So you don't even get the prologue properly linked up to the main story in a way that you would understand until about 2 hours has gone by till then you actually see something that makes you think, oh, right, okay. And it's it's not even like massive jump scares. I mean, there are two, saying that, there are two jump scares in this film that really got me. But the first jump scare is a really dead simple one, and it doesn't even happen until about 1 hour 50.
Is that the one where you squealed like a little bit?
No. Yeah.
Oh, that's the second one.
No, that was the phone ringing. The second jump scare.
You squealed.
Yeah, that was the second jump scare.
Yeah,
that was awful. Yeah, that was horrible.
Oh, the first jump scare was the phone ring.
Phone rings off camera, completely off context. And the second jump scare is, in
the prologue, there is something that's more like a traditional kind of horror vibe where it starts running towards the cabin.
Brilliantly done as well.
It's so well done.
So
and
when
you don't really know what you're getting. You're like, is this a horror? Is it? Because it's not really presented as a horror, and it's not like that. You get the usual build-up of a horror where the strings start getting louder and they're looking around a corner and they're like, no, don't go down into the basement and all that. And it doesn't have any of that, but it is still a horror. But it's like a mystery detective horror. It's hard to explain, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you like films like what we've just said, those two that I just said, but also if you like film like, say, Fallen. Have you seen Fallen yet with Denzel Washington?
I'm not sure.
Okay. They're all films that go down the track where the story's being investigated and you're finding it. And it's brilliant, really, when it's done that way, because you can't help but be invested in it.
You're in his shoes.
Yeah.
And you're unravelling it at the same time as him.
Literally.
I say him in this film, it could be anyone.
Yeah. So talking about...
There was one thing, because we're talking about like detective and unravelling the mystery and stuff, I had to laugh on like, now, with the advent of the internet and things, you can't get away from the fact that, like, you know, if there's something you want to think about, you could just jump on Google, can't you? So there's like... And he finds a flyer that's appeared like maybe twice and he's like, what is that? So rather than have two people talking in exposition and you thinking, oh, this is just a dump of like, just to get us caught up, what do? Straight on Wikipedia and then zoom in on the lines that like, give you the, it's like the new exposition dump.
Because it's what we would do, isn't it?
Yeah.
In this day and age, in his shoes, having the information that we've got, the first thing we do is...
Well, it's like filmmakers are caught up now, because like 10 years ago, you'd just be like, just Google it, mate, just Google it, and they never would. No. But now they're like, no, we have to Google it now, because that's what it was.
It's like when you have to say, oh, I've got no phone signal.
Yeah.
You have to get that out of the way quick. Well, you don't tend to do that either, do they? They try and build it in now so that it's not matter whether your mobile phone works or not. Yeah. So certain things and certain ways that it was done for the creepiness side of things that I really liked was the way they used the visuals and the sound, because I thought the combination of the two worked hand in hand brilliantly, and I was so impressed with the sound on that. It felt like there were only a few moments in the film which justified complete silence. So he walks across a bridge at one point and you can hear all the crickets and the noises. When he gets halfway across the bridge, all of a sudden everything stops and he's just standing there in complete silence. That worked really well. But for the majority of the film, there's always this undercurrent of the score. And it's really...
There's another bit that's really good where, I can't remember what character it was, but suddenly she was in danger. She knew she was in danger. And even like all the score and stuff started to like muffle and get lower in quality, and then she became isolated. And that's what's happened when your flight or fight kicks in. And your brain blocks everything out and just focuses in on one thing, doesn't it? And they seem to have mastery of conveying emotion through the way they adapted the score and the...
Very much so, yeah. It worked on me anyway.
Did me as well.
Flipping heck, did it ever. So I really enjoyed the scene in the prologue where there's a scene in the prologue where one of the characters... opens the cabin door and goes out into the snow. It really looked like that was proper full-on snow, by the way. That didn't look like it was an effect. There was too much going on. What did you think?
I think it was done, with the snow machine.
Yeah.
I do, but it did look real.
Yeah, it looked really good. Yeah. Anyway, she goes out into this snow from the cabin. Cabin's now behind her, the door's open, and she sees a figure standing off in the distance. The figure doesn't move. So she shouts out, "Can you help us? Can you help us?" And then the figure then, as she takes a step forward, it takes a step back. Really weird, creepy. And then it levitates slightly. Whoa! And then it comes back down. And then the camera pans to her. And then it doesn't go to the figure. It uses the sound. Because the next thing you hear is this thing's running at her. And that's enough, isn't it, to make it... And it's so clever, right?
But it does show, it just then flick back to the figure running at it. And the design is amazing because the figure's all wrapped up in these black robes and stuff, but they're all framed.
All framed.
There's loads of bits of material coming off, and as the figure's running, it's all flapping around in the snow and stuff. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, really, really well done. So, going from the prologue then to the main film, we've got this detective story going on. Trying not to say, but yeah, you can't sit here and not give away. So the lead guy is basically investigating the disappearance of this girl who lives next door to him. We know, not by exposition, but just by great storytelling, we know that in his history, his wife and child have died. And we also know that next door, this girl's father died. We also learn that he was possibly having an affair with the mother of this girl. Anyway, the whole film then starts with him investigating, trying to find where this girl is.
He used to be an ex-cop.
That's told. Very, very much like, say, the Wicker Man. Same sort of thing, right? He's sent over to the island to investigate a missing girl. Yeah, don't know why I did that. Not very cool. Anyway, so he's now on the trail of this missing girl, and throughout the trail, he comes across this cult, doesn't he?
I'd like to say, when you explain it like that, it sounds very cookie cutter. Not you.
I know what you mean.
It's a film that you're not going to be able to understand and appreciate what it is until you actually watch it, because it's done in such a unique, clever manner that it's surprising. You think, you're always a bit like, what is going on here? But it is presented in a way that you understand. But it's an extremely clever piece of cinema, isn't it?
Very, very clever.
I think Claire's back, so ignore the background noise and the dog's going crazy.
Claire's going to come in and say hello in a minute, and we'll probably say hi to her, because we always do, if we like Claire. I think, one thing I definitely won't spoil is the twist.
No.
Okay? Because it's brilliant, and
or is there a twist?
Or is
there a twist of the twist?
Or is the twisted twist?
Wait! What was that teddy bear thing all about? It ended up in the back of his car.
It's in his mind, though, again, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's it symbolising?
It symbolises...
the fact that it was in the place where he... we're going... dangerous territory. Dangerous
territory. We won't give away the twist.
Have you ever seen that film where that guy's at an American university and they have the Sigma and the Alphas and all that lot? The dormitories. I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, but he finds out that there's like a cult, like to do with a political cult. So,
hi Claire. All right, that's fine. You can say hi to everybody. They've seen you place before.
All right, shush dogs.
Okay. Well done. Well done. Well, the only one I can think of that's cultish is the Faculty.
Yes.
Oh, is it the Faculty?
It's the Faculty. What?
The alien creature.
No, not the Faculty.
Right. Okay.
So
Society.
Basically, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, it might be Society.
It's a body horror one where they all end up mashing up into each other and stuff like that.
Basically, this film has that same as those type of films, there's an undercurrent of a cultish kind of manifestation thing going on that you think you know where it's going. This film, The Empty Man, is the most unique type of telling of that kind of story I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a story about cultism, beliefs. I would also say it's sci-fi. Would you say sci-fi?
It's
in a way.
It's yeah, a little bit. It's existential dread, isn't it?
Well, yes. It starts small, but then if you really get into it, the ramifications... Lovecraftian, that's a good way of looking at it. The ramifications of what could actually happen once the film's finished is something that's going to happen on a grand scale, but you don't see the grand... You're seeing the kind of the beginnings of this, what this doomsday cult's actually managed to achieve and stuff.
Yeah, based on like this understandable ancient kind of power and
entity.
Yeah, that's I mean,
it never fully
explained. In a way, it's a bit like Omen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those kind of films.
There's all sorts in there.
There is all sorts. But
Wicker Man.
But it's not
Omen.
like... You don't look at it and say, oh, that's like this, because it's just presented in such a unique way.
It's got some nice little threads going on. The imagery... Could we talk about some of that weird imagery as well? I mean, like, there are certain scenes that... totally kind of just weird you out a bit. And they're dead simply done, aren't they?
Like what?
Okay, so like there's one particular scene where he's chatting to a girl in his car and he's finding out a few bits and bobs. And then she gets out of the car and then sat up against the wall of these five like university students, all cross-legged, all just staring. Not moving.
Were they part of the same friend group? Were they the group that we'd seen before? Yeah.
Yeah, they were part of the cult.
But there's also the... I thought you were going to say, like, in the other side of the car, in the distance, in amongst some trees, there was like a shadowy figure that appeared and went back down again. And you're like... It's quite near the start of the film, so you're like, right, I know what's going on now. And that thing never ever appears.
And she sees it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't he?
Yeah.
We were saying as well how good a film's got to be to make you feel that sort of dread when we are sitting in broad daylight. It's not dark, and yet I was just on the edge.
I could literally feel my heart beating in my chest, but it's not horror. It's not jump. It's not adrenaline from a jump horror. It's just this oncoming like fear of what's
happening. Other imagery. One particular favourite scene, and I was semi-prepared but not prepared because you've obviously seen it and I haven't, and you just went like this. Oh, this is the bit I remember, and you went like that. Well, for him to do that means, well, I'm definitely doing that then, because if he's doing that, then that totally means something weird's going to happen. And he goes to like this place. Well, it doesn't matter how he goes there anyway. All these cultists are running round in a circle around this massive fire, but they're all moving in sync. All of them are moving exactly in sync. And then he makes a noise and they all stop. And then all as one, chomp, just the shadows, you see them look at him. And then they start stepping forward.
there's hundreds of them.
There's hundreds, yeah.
Not like 5 people, there's hundreds.
And then the funniest thing is, it's like they get to a point where they've got quite close to him, so it suddenly went dark. And again, they use the sound because it goes dark, the big floodlight goes off. And in unison, you can hear all these people moving. Not running, just moving. Chomp, chomp. So that when you then do see them again, they are literally just over the stream from him.
Mm.
And that's when he does the thing that we all think we do. He's like, oh, and what's the line he says?
Yes,
not
no.
today.
No, he goes, yes, no.
Yes, no.
It reminded me of Nope. Have you seen Nope?
Yes.
Jordan Peele, when he's like, nope, in that car. I wonder if Jordan got that idea from the internet. Yeah, he just goes, yeah, no. And lets it. It's so cool.
And it's so well done again. It's just, there were some really great moments.
The levels of creep are just turned on.
Oh. Did you notice, by the way, how the guy who obviously was the cinematographer really, really loved his composition, because there were loads of shots that were really composed with the rule of thirds. Mm. He really loved his rule of thirds for lots and lots of things. So there was kind of like there was like an order. It's like an order to it, you know, like with it being a cult and everything as well, you know. And I found that quite interesting too.
Yeah, there's some very good shots. You know, normally I think in that type of film it would be really easy just to go handheld.
Yeah,
but he was into like structures, wasn't he? Like lines and like inside big buildings or outside of buildings, the way they were framed.
All exactly framed, exactly perfect. Like when you look down the bridge.
Yeah, beautiful.
You know,
beautiful. And then I noticed one thing he did really, really flashy was when the main protagonist, I think he was in his bedroom, it was quite dark, and I don't know if he was like looking on his phone or something like that. And then it was like 2 minute scene. Then right at the end, like a car must have drove past. It was at night, and all the lights came through the windows and like washed. Like you could see the light moving across it, and then it cut to another scene. I thought it only lasted for about a second. Like they've gone for the effort of making this car illuminate right at the end of the scene, not for effect or anything, just to aid, right, this is the next cut. Right.
Oh, wow. Talking of which, he's looking at a map.
Oh, that's amazing.
So he's looking at a map.
Absolutely shocking.
And then the camera then comes down into the map. The trees become real, but still way off. And then you see, as it comes in closer, you can see the small car driving through the woods. This is when he's on his way to the cabin. And then it comes down, 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 down. And if that's not enough, it then drops right down and then flows in behind the car. We're like, what? That's so cool. It's really cool.
Incredible shot. Yeah, really well. Yeah, really well done.
Right, now.
It's funny you mentioned the cabin, right? So there's a bit where they go into like it's like an old building that's got the cult inside anyway. But when you get into he gets behind the scenes and stuff, do you know what I mean? It's a bit like a factory, isn't it? When I was watching it, I was thinking, like, horror movie, right, disused factory, check. And then they send him to a cabin in the woods. So I was like, check. Then at the beginning, school. What are the three places you always have in horror films? A school, an abandoned factory, and a cabin in the woods. But listen to us talking about it, it sounds like a generic horror, but it's not.
It's nothing like that, is it?
No.
It really isn't anything like that. And that's probably why I feel so surprised. Because films like, say, The Slender Man, you just get this random group of teenagers, don't you? And you end up hating them all, and it's just like, well, there we go. But with this, everybody was on point, and it was just so well done.
It's like everything in it, nothing's explained, but everything that is explained is a lie, but not in a manipulative way. You're the one that's lying to yourself, thinking you know what's going on.
Think of films like Shutter Island and films like Shutter Island and the ones that we've already mentioned. You know,
I keep thinking of like Seven for some reason.
Yeah, with the twist, because
just the way, because the way stuff's pulled over your eyes.
And then he opened the box at the end, and it was Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Not really.
So we're not going to review that film.
No, not really.
Why do you think it isn't very well known?
That's a really good question, that, actually. Certainly deserves to be better known than it is. That should be on the tip. That should be on people's horror lists, and that should be known well. Because the length of it, does the length of it put people off? Or do you think people look at the title and think, oh, this is going to be like I did, and think, oh, this is just going to be like another one of those, like Slender Man, The Empty Man, or it's going to be like The Slender Man, and just sort of like dismiss it because they don't really know what it's actually about. I suspect that's probably the likely reason, actually, because that's why I would have dismissed it.
True.
What do you think?
It was funny because the title, it does very much make sense. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't inspire if you don't know anything about it. I think it must be just they didn't have any marketing budget, surely, because it looks fantastic. The acting's brilliant. The story's great. The editing, I wanted to point out, is absolutely perfect. So there's no reason other than like it just wasn't shoved in front of people's faces.
Did it get a theatrical release over here?
I don't know anything about it really.
Nothing. That's why I don't think it did. You know,
I can't even remember where I first saw it.
But it's 2020. It's 5 years old.
Was it 2020?
Yeah.
It feels like I saw it longer ago than
It's
that.
2020, but I mean, in 5 years, I've never heard anyone even mention it.
No, the fact that it's on Disney Channel as well, which would make you think a few people would have seen it, but
Disney's quite prepared to go quite dark at the moment, aren't they? I want to talk a bit about some of the kills that happen in it as well. I mean, they're pretty. I mean, some of the scenes are pretty brutal. Again, there's not loads of them, but when they happen, it's a bit of a
yeah, you're not really expecting, because it's not that type of film, is it? You don't expect that to see that, and it just happens suddenly. You're like, God damn.
I mean, there's one particular one that, I mean, I'm used to seeing horror and watching, all this sort of stuff happening, and I can handle most of that sort of stuff because it's not actually real. But I can't handle eyes. I do not like eyes. Anything that gets near an eyeball freaks me out.
Well, it's like that cop said, that people don't do that to themselves.
Yeah, she kills herself. Yeah, really? What, like that?
But then it's weird, isn't it? Because she must be possessed or something, because it flashes to like a figure with the scissors, but then it flashes to her and it's actually her arm. And it's like, so is she possessed?
Well, it's the guy in the bed. It's him in the bed, and he's channeling.
But why does he have to kill people?
Because he's bad. He's evil. He's an entity.
Yeah.
Remember in the prologue, he doesn't kill. In the prologue,
he gets other people.
He gets that girl to kill them all, and he does it by going in her ear.
Well,
chanting.
Yeah, when they find him down at the bottom of the crevice, and he comes up to him and says, "What's up with you?" I don't know if you noticed, because he starts speaking in tongues, doesn't he? But then it is a little bit of English. Did you notice that he says?
If you touch me, you'll die.
Yeah. I don't know what that means or why he has to touch him.
If you touch me, you'll die.
Why does he have to touch him? But so the kills, right? Yeah, you got some gruesome classic horror, gruesome, kind of knives in the eyes, kind of things like that. So you're watching, you're thinking, I know where this film's going now. It's going to be like a slasher, kind of like, set pieces, gory deaths, and they're going to up it towards the end. And then it just doesn't do that again for the rest of the film.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't need to, does it?
There's nowhere to anticipate what you actually get.
You don't know what's coming next.
You don't know.
Which I think is why, when the least scary thing that happened, which was a telephone ringing, just totally freaked. Because it wasn't even in a scene where you think there's something shocking.
No, it wasn't like a build-up or anything. It wasn't a trick.
God,
I did as well, and I think they did do it on purpose because it was a very loud
phone. It was definitely done on purpose.
Let's talk about the sound design. Right, I'd say the sound design could possibly be easily. Well, it is definitely one of the best for a horror film I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking sound design, so we're talking not just score, we're talking effects, manipulation, the way, totally. I mean, the prologue, because they're like in the Himalayas kind of thing, it's kind of like this monkish kind of, I'm doing that quite good actually.
Yeah.
And at times that's really loud. I can't do that. But it doesn't always go away, does it? It's just kind of in the background. Yeah. And there was another moment in the film where the sound was quite loud, quite ominous, and there's this kind of beat that was going on with it. And then you get past the bit that's a bit creepy in that. And rather than just completely end the sound at that point, they just kept the beat going in the background still, just that little bit going. It's like little always there.
Little heartbeats and things. It's like, you're right about, like, once that scene's over, like traditional horror, you'll get a build-up of string, a jump scare, whatever, and then it goes on to like, some kids playing at college or whatever. And it's like cut into specific scenes, isn't it? Right, This is a downside, this is a scary side. Whereas that, it kept that feeling of uncomfortableness through the score going throughout the whole film, really. I think so I've not got 5.1 surround here, but I've got a big bass woofer and like some a sound bar and things like that, and it really helped understand the score because there's a lot of really low-end bassy rumbles and things. And like, I think on a normal TV without any supporting speakers and stuff, you probably wouldn't hear all those.
You'd lose a lot, yeah.
And I always used to say when I was a musician, don't forget about like your computer and things like that. Just get some good speakers.
Yeah.
Because if you've got some good speakers, you can mix your music well and hear it properly. And I think it's the same with film. Like, all right, if you've got like this standard TV and you want to upgrade, don't buy a new TV. Buy a decent 5.1 surround system. You know, because it is so. Because I was watching the film and I was thinking, if this score and sound design was rubbish, would that film be anywhere near as good as it is?
Not without the score and stuff. No way. Not at all. No. If someone had scored that differently, I mean, it's hard to think how you would score that differently now that we've watched it. If someone had scored that differently and without the same impact, then we'd have only have had, we wouldn't be talking about it as like we are now.
No.
Not at all.
The way we felt creeped out and stuff, I reckon 50% of it was down to the sound design.
I'd rather watch a film where the picture quality is not quite so good, but the sound's spot on, than the other way around, any day of the week, I think. And that kind of says it, doesn't it? It's like when you watch films, if you go back and watch films like, for example, Alien, I mean, that's another example of a film that's got a fantastic score. And yet, when you watch the quality of that film, if you weren't watching it like we did in your 4K, you were watching it, say, on video again, but you had the sound up loud and everything. It's still just as scary, you know?
True.
It has such an impact. It's fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Can't say an awful lot more about it than that, really, without sort of giving away the twist at the end. And I definitely don't want to do that. I'd like people to find that out if they haven't watched it. But if you have seen it, you'll know what we're talking about. It might be that you'll have to think about it a little bit as well at the end. It's a film that finishes and then gets you thinking back a little bit over certain things. And I don't mind that either, you know. Films like Hereditary, Midsummer and stuff like that. I don't mind a film that finishes and then you're left thinking, am I interpreting it in the same way that the director wanted me to?
It doesn't just tell you.
It's not there spoon feeding you.
No.
You've got to think about imagery and stuff that you've already seen in the film, and you're left to put the puzzle pieces together a little bit yourself, but not to the degree like it's David Lynch where you haven't got a fucking clue what anything's happening.
No.
Not like that.
It's funny because like the clues are there, but because you don't know what you're getting at the end, you don't realise they're clues. But then, honestly, if you watched it again quite close to the first time, you'd see so much.
Yeah, on a rewatch, you'd be able to understand even more so imagery and stuff like that. What that he's seeing as part of his investigation. This is what it's like.
I had actually, a good thing for me is I had actually forgot the ending. You know, when you watch a film that you've already seen and you can't remember anything about it until like 5 seconds before each scene happens. I was in that zone. It was quite good.
I honestly think films that do that are really well done, because you can't, if a film these days particularly, if a film does a twist and I cannot see that twist coming at all, kudos to it.
Yeah, because everything's been done. Everything's a remix. But this was successful.
Very. Right. So, without giving away anything else, well, you talk about how you feel about it on the rewatch first before I give it a little mark up.
The first thing I'd like to say is that if you're under 18, be careful watching this, because it's not a horror as in blood, guts everywhere and things like that. But it's the kind of horror that I think, like, I wonder if when I go to bed tonight, I'll have a nightmare.
Possibly.
Because it's just so creepy.
Yeah, if you don't like things to do with cultism and stuff like that, mysticism and cultism as well, if you really don't like it.
Just like existential dread stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, if you're under 18, I'd say watch it with some older kids or whatever. I think this film is a masterclass. Sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself. The thing is, we're not a reaction film channel where we're like, oh, this film's out, let's watch it, no matter what it is, even if it's rubbish. We like to choose films that we love, that we want to show each other, that we think, oh, Gavin will be interested in this. Do you know what I mean? So nearly, I'd say 90% of the time, our reviews are absolutely fantastic.
Well,
Because that's the reason we're watching it. Because we're not going to be like, oh, I've got this really shit movie, I know. Gavin will think it's really shit.
Well, I did get you guys to watch Poseidon at Christmas. Which is my guilty pleasure.
The remake.
Yeah, the remake of Poseidon. And that's an example of when you were a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah.
But we're honest, right?
Yeah.
If it's a good film, it's a good film. We're choosing good films.
This is an absolutely fantastic film. And I think I have to always take the side of, like, if you're interested in filmmaking, the process of filmmaking, the process of delivering interesting stories in unique ways, this is absolutely fantastic. If I was teaching cinema at university, I would definitely give this film to my students and say, go away, study the way they've made this, and let me know what your thoughts are.
Well, there you go. High praise indeed, yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for introducing me to a film that I absolutely knew nothing about until today. Secondly, thank you for introducing me to a film that I did actually really like. And again, if I hadn't liked it, I would be saying, I'll be honest, but I really enjoyed it. And thirdly, the thing I'm going to take away the most from this film is understanding how well a score can unsettle you if it's done right. Okay? It reminded me, not story-wise, it didn't, but it reminded me of the unsettling feeling I had when listening to the score and watching It Follows. We both said that, because a lot of the stuff happens not just at night, it happens in the daytime and is still unsettling. It was 2 hours 20.
Yeah.
And I can't choose bits of that film that I would have cut out.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, some people might say 2 hours 20 is long, isn't it, for that kind of film?
Mm.
Could you not have edited it a bit tighter? But I can't think of scenes in that where, without losing them, you'd have lost the power of the story.
I agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, very strong. Very strong. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, that one.
Well done.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now, good. Right, now we need to talk about our competition winner. So a big well done to Luna. She won our Shrek and Donkey.
Well done, Luna.
Correctly saying that the highest grossing Shrek film in the franchise was Shrek 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello, dogs.
Made an absolute ton of money. So well done, Luna.
Well done, Luna.
Yeah, congrats. Now, I need a question for our prize for this week. So I'm going to tie the prize for this week in with a little bit with the film that we're going to watch. So before we do that, you've got to try and guess what film I've chosen. Thanks for doing that quietly, Claire. That's brilliant.
I tried really hard.
I know you did. You
She wants to
failed.
sit there.
That's all right. She can sit there. She'll throw the toy on the setting. So, 3 clues. So to say, okay, Stinky. No.
Yeah, some Stinky.
Oh, right. I thought it was going to be.
Jack's nickname is Stinky.
Right, so 3 clues for my choice of film. Okay.
For me?
Yeah, you've got to try and guess it. Okay.
Okay.
3 clues. And then first clue, hardest clue, possibly. Early 80s. Early 80s horror comedy.
Evil Dead.
No. Good shout though, because that does fit that criteria. Okay, so clue number 2. I got it. Here's clue number 2. Ready? Mickey Mouse.
Like a hand puppet.
Mickey Mouse.
Disney.
Hmm?
Mickey Mouse.
That's a hard clue.
Feels like it.
It's an iconic scene in the film.
Isn't it? Chucky.
Not Chucky. Great guess again though. Right, third and final clue. This is the strongest clue for you. Beware the Moon.
Oh, An American Werewolf in London. Oh, yes, mate. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, not seen that for a bit. And I'm looking forward to watching that in the surround as well, actually. You know? So that's going to be our film that we choose for the next one, American one. So did you get the Mickey Mouse reference? hello, David. It's when he's decomposed, and it's really weird because he's like completely decomposed, but yet he's got this Disney Mickey Mouse in his hand. He's waving his arm at David. Anyway, Jack. So based on that, our competition for this final video is this. This is what you can win. So, John Landis directed American Werewolf in London. One of his lesser-known films is this brilliant vampire film called Innocent Blood, which I don't think you've seen yet, have you? With the gorgeous Anne Parilord, I think her name is, French actress. Really cracking little film, this. Very underrated. Hard to get on Blu-ray and DVD now, must admit. And this is what would have been the cinema programme that would have been given out at the premiere in the cinema for those patrons that went to see the premiere. And it just tells you all about it, and it's just really, really beautiful. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you a frame, so you can choose to frame it if you so wish. Obviously, if you frame it, you then have to take it out of the frame if you wish to then do what I've just done. Okay? Right? Pretty cool. For my personal stash. Okay? Question. To relate to American Werewolf, question is this. Which famous British comedian made his cinematic debut by appearing in the pub scene in American Werewolf in London? You know?
Which famous
British comedian made his film debut when he appeared in the pub scene in The Slaughtered Lamb in American Werewolf in London?
I don't know the answer to that, and but that scene is one of the most amazing scenes. I can't wait to watch it.
Okay.
If anyone Googles, so everyone that's subscribed, because only subscribers can enter the competitions.
Yeah.
I have all of your IP addresses. If I see any of you have Googled the answer, you're banned. That's not possible, by the way. I can't do that.
Well, you like the Lawnmower Man?
But don't Google it.
It's a good question. If you're a big fan of the film, you'll know, I think. But if you're a huge fan of the film, you'll know. If you're not a huge fan but you like it, it's one of those moments when you're watching it where you suddenly go, oh my God, I forgot he cameoed in this, you know? So that's the question. Just big thank you again to our subscribers. If you're watching this for the first time, please subscribe, press like, subscribe. We would love you to join us.
We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, and when we do, we've got a special lined up, so we'll tell you when we get closer. So, yeah, please share about and get your friends to
1,000 subscribers, we do it naked.
We need to get there. And when we get to 1,000 subscribers, as long as we've got enough viewing time as well, we can monetize the channel. And our aim is to employ an editor.
An editor. Oh, so we're not getting naked?
Yeah.
As well.
Of course.
And we're going to write across our chests 1,000. Just to finish this off, by the way, don't think we haven't noticed, but on our fantastic Man Caves Margaritas poster that we have, we do realise that the apostrophe is in the wrong place and it shouldn't be there. We aren't taking it out, though, because we quite like the idea that grammar police getting a bit of a kick out of the fact that we put it in the wrong place.
Yes, Greg.
Yes, Greg. and Jane Hyman.
Did Jane do it as well?
Yes, did. Bless her. We love you, Jane. We love you, Jane. So, enough said?
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on. American Werewolf.
Man caves and margaritas. Joe, Liz, and Gavin talking about their favorite features.